In my last video, I touched on not just keeping God in your life when it comes to the things you want to do, maybe it be business or career path, and just thanking Him, as He can still remain as priority in your life whilst obtaining the things you want to do in this world. Well, it goes in the same kind of route when it comes to overcoming sin. It's kind of overcoming all earthly desires when it comes to pursuing Jesus. In the same breath that our love for Jesus has to overcome our fear of hell, it's the same thing when it comes to obtaining all earthly matters. I've been reading Luke recently, and in chapter 16, verse 9, "And I say unto you, make friends for yourselves by means of unrighteous wealth, that when it fails, that you may receive to eternal dwelling." The topic of money and faith is extremely conflicting, and people tend to misinterpret a lot of things and tend to misrepresent the key message. What we can see that Jesus is saying in here is that the earth will fail you, no matter what. Whether you're poor or rich, the earth will fail you. Everything that you ever obtain, you may have it, and that's not necessarily wrong having it. It's just that it will eventually fail you. So what's the key message there? The key message is to simply understand that everything you've got will leave, and everything you have will pass away. As Jesus obviously says, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. The only thing that's eternal is Jesus and His words, whereas everything else it's going to pass away. I mentioned in my last video kind of how I call it time wasting, which I don't know. It's a mindset you don't have to do. You don't have to kind of copy the mindset that I've put into that, but I just think it's a decent way of going. Everything's going to fail, and I'm gonna enjoy what the world, possesses, as long as I just always know that, well, Christ is just more important than any of these things. And it's very hard and it's very conflicting to say, don't obsess over the earthly things, but also dedicate every day into doing activities in order to get them. Like everything in this world, it's kind of about balance. How are you managing your time, and how much do you want to know your God? I think we all have earthly roles and we've got heavenly roles, and how are you serving the both of them? The best neutral answer I can give when it comes to what your earthly role is and what you're trying to do as a career, it's honestly about how you represent yourself as a person, as a representative of Christ. In life, you meet a lot of people that are struggling and not doing well, and the whole point is you kind of want to be that person that they look at and go, man, I don't know what he's doing, but he's just got it right. Like, no matter what job you have, people can see way more than that. Drive and hobbies give people purpose, and that's okay. I actually don't have I'll find the verse. I think it's in Ecclesiastes. Yes, Ecclesiastes 9:9. "Enjoy life with the wife whom you love, for this is your portion in life, and in your toil at which you toil under the sun." In other translations, it kind of says, this is your lot. And in the book of Ecclesiastes, it just basically talks about how everything is vanity, but God will give you X amount of things and say, this is your lot. It is God's purpose for us. No problem with us wanting careers, and you have to provide for your family, and this is the earthly role as a husband, but it's simply just about glorifying God in the midst of that, through yourself and how you represent yourself, what you do maybe with your wealth. Trust me, I want nice cars and I want nice things. I just want to make sure that greedy mindset of going, I don't want to give at all for anybody else. And in conclusion, you don't have to take it so intricately and think that you have to now no longer be able to work and want to provide. That's our actual job. We have to do that. So there's a place in the middle. And that place in the middle is simply submitting your will to God the Father and saying, if it is right in your will that I have these things, let your will be done and not mine. I was speaking to an Orthodox monk the other day, and he was speaking the difference between your conscience and the Holy Spirit. So one of the overall things that led me to Christianity years back, but I'll say that for another time, about how the conscience wants something, whereas the Holy Spirit wants something for you differently. Lord, will I be a better servant if I have these things, or will I be a better servant if I don't have these things? And that doesn't always just go the other way. It doesn't mean that just every earthly material is going to make you a worse servant of the Lord. That's actually not the case. Look at celebrities, for example. We don't know how genuine they can be sometimes, but the ones that sometimes give their life to Christ randomly, it's a big testimony for other people. But with that following and that influence, that testimony might be really big for some of their core followers or core fans or just people that they influence. It goes all the way back to Luke 16:9. Where Jesus is saying, as long as you understand it's going to eventually fail you. You may have it. It's just going to eventually fail you. Everything in this earth will give you this much value for only a certain amount of time. My conscience might want something. The Holy Spirit might want something different for me. The question is, Lord, will I be a better servant for you if I have X, Y, and Z? Or will I be a better servant for you if I do X, Y, and Z? But work hard. Working hard is part of our faith. It's a conflicting topic, and I hope that this did actually help a little bit in regards to can you achieve goals in business and have a good career whilst trying to obtain salvation via Jesus Christ? For me personally, and I'm no person that is in a position to make any calls, but for me personally, I'm going to keep striving for my goals in business and keep driving myself for the purpose that I think God created me for. But we all know that God created us for a more important purpose, that is to bring people closer to Jesus, that's to bring people to know Jesus, that's to spread the gospel and that's to overall be a good and faithful servant to Jesus. And everything else underneath that, it's not that it isn't important. It's just that it's not as important. And obviously with that, as always, thank you for watching, and may God bless you and dwell within you with his Holy Spirit. Thank you.